Testing. Just grab a seat. Thank you. So good evening and welcome to the Centric Hounslow Aera Forum. So I'm Councillor Mohammed Umair. This evening's meeting I'll be chairing in the absence of the actual mayor, the full-time mayor, Councillor Danish Said. So as a vice chair, I'll be running this evening's meeting. So I'd like to welcome you all to this meeting, well, this year's first meeting of 2026. Hopefully you've all had a great start to the year. And hopefully you've all had a chance to speak to the stallholders at the back at the marketplace, and they do provide some useful information and advice. So since it's just past 7:30, we'll get started with the agenda. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and will be made available for viewing on the Hounslow Council's YouTube page in the coming days. With that in mind, members of the public should refrain from giving their personal details such as address or any private information. For tonight's proceeding, I as the chair will be running the meeting and inviting people to speak. We have a full agenda. However, I endeavor to allow as many people as possible to speak. The minutes of last meetings were not published with the agenda due to an administrative error. However, they will be published and agreed along with this meeting's minutes in March. With that in mind, I would ask members of the public to wait for their turn and not to interrupt others when they are talking or commenting during contribution of others. Please avoid asking questions which have already been asked. This is to allow greatest range of questions from the attendees. I would also like to remind everyone in the view of forthcoming local elections that area forums are apolitical and not the place to raise or discuss any party politics. All councillors are here tonight to represent their constituents. It may not be possible for everyone to ask a question due to the time constraints, so if you do not get the chance to do so, please use the evaluation forms available from Ammo. Ammo is just at the back there. And responses will be sent to you directly. Please submit any unanswered questions and give them to Ammo, one of the community development officers at the back. So without further ado, we'll get straight to it. So agenda item 1, we have apologies for absence, declarations or interests, or any other communications from members.
Councillor Samia Chaudhry.
Councillor Samia Chaudhry.
I have apologies besides Councillor Samir Chowdhury from Councillors Badna Chopra, Danish Saeed and Jagdish Sharma.
Any other apologies for absence? Thank you. Okay, so agenda item 3 would be the minutes which are not published as mentioned earlier during the intro. Therefore, we will move straight to agenda item 4, open forum for questions from the members of public. So we now come to the open forum. So the following, there was a question received from a member of the public. However, I'll allow members of the public present at the forum to have a go first. And if we have sufficient time, I'll run through the question received. Does anybody on the floor have any questions they would like to ask?
Yep.
Gentleman there.
Now? Okay, good evening everyone. I live in that little bit of Hounslow between the High Street and Inwood Park. And obviously a number of us are thinking about the redevelopment of the Treaty Centre. And I've been asking for some information about the proposals. So far, after a few weeks, I've come up against a brick wall, and I'd like to know a little bit more about them. How the design works, who's going to be living in the new accommodation and so on. Perhaps the panel could enlighten me on that.
Is this specific to the planning or just general?
Well, it's obviously about planning and what that new development will look like, but also, like a lot of people within the borough, I'm interested in who may be living in that new accommodation. Obviously, given the desperate need for affordable housing across the borough. So those are the questions that I'm particularly interested in that will cover planning and, I guess, housing as well.
So it's a great question, but we do not, well, firstly, we do not have as far as I recall, there's no planning application formally being submitted. As and when that has been submitted by the applicant, the information will be public, and you'll be more than welcome to, like any other major application that's been placed to the council, be able to attend along with any other members of the community and be able to raise questions at the panel or submit questions before before the planning application is discussed. So I've been just advised that it's not been submitted yet, but if you still have these questions, feel free to, I know you have raised them, if it doesn't get anywhere, we can fight. Emma at the back can advise you just behind you there, or who else can provide those details to you. And just hold that thought for a second. Councillor, do you want to add something?
Thank you, Chair. General question you asked, who will be living there? We don't know. It's up to the developer. But we ask for 40% affordable housing every time. And depending on, report there, viability report there, we normally get between 30 and 40%. And that is for people who are on our list. We can nominate them sometimes as well. It all depends where the application come and how the application is dealt and what the conditions on it. We ask them for community area, give us some community area there. And they already told us they'll be doing some flowers and trees at the back of it, because at the moment, if you go on the Hanworth Road, it looks really, bricks, nothing else. They will definitely, they promise us they'll make it better. So they'll make some kind of little garden there, sitting area, so people can come in. It looks great when you enter from that side.
Any other questions from the forum? Just the back there.
Sally Bailey. I'm a local resident as well as vicar here, and it is relevant to the Treaty Centre development and to a question that I keep asking so that it stays on the agenda, and that's about public toilets, because obviously at the moment the only public toilets are in the Treaty Centre, and when that development starts and we lose those, we definitely need something else on the high street to deter people from using the streets and the church as a public lavatory.
Thank you. Councillor, do you want to take that?
Thank you, Sally, for your question. Yes, we have asked the developers to provide the facilities there. And we're also talking and discussing at the moment how best we can provide some other facilities in the high street.
Thank you, Councillor. Do any other members of the public have any questions with respect to the community Hounslow? Gentleman at the back there. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Danny. I'm from Hounslow West, and my question is for you, Umair. The footpath at Hounslow West now, all the shopkeepers has encroached the footpath, literally, in front of Sada and other areas. So it's very hard for people with the wheelchair and pram to cross that area, to go to the chemist or any of these areas. They have to literally go on the road to pass that area. So I don't know how this has been controlled, because for example, Sada and Asian meat areas, they have literally crossed or occupied the whole footpath. So I see literally some of the disabled people are struggling to go on that road, and they have to literally go on the road, and it's dangerous for them. So I don't know how or who is looking after this.
So generally that will be the licensing team. However, did you mention Sada store just by Hounslow West? Okay, because I know I've frequently been down that route, and there is usually, and I have raised that in fact a while back, and I haven't been there lately, so I'm not sure what. I understand you're saying it's completely occupied, is it? So have you, don't know if you, that's a quite specific issue. Have you raised that formally through myself or any of the other guys in the council?
I did in my emails couple of times, but I haven't got any reply from my emails.
Would any of those been with myself in those emails?
Yes, you
Okay.
also and Chopra as well.
Great. Could you reissue or resend out that email to myself highlighting just that specific issue? And then I'll make sure it gets forwarded to the licensing team, because I have walked that route myself with the licensing team and a few of the community officers. And we went through the whole strip, checked some of their timing, their licenses, how far out they could actually come, because I had the very concern that there wasn't sufficient room in that area, and there happened to be pretty much every store that we checked that was 2 years ago. So I'm not sure as of late if they've got a different license, or if they're not using their license properly and they've come too far out. So that's something we can check.
Thank you. And the second question I have is, any update on Royal Post in Hounslow Central? Because we don't have a Royal Post after that W.H. Smith is gone. And it's been pending for ages now. For last 3 meetings, we have been hearing that nothing has come up. So people are literally, and being Hounslow Central, this is shame for us, like we don't have a Royal Post.
Yep, I think we've got the councillor who can answer that very question. Councillor Giro.
Yeah, we have the post office opening here in Hounslow at 173 High Street on the 26th of February. It will be opening, yeah? As to your first question, I was just going to say we had the same problem here in the High Street, and the enforcement team took them a long time, because they'd go there, the shopkeepers had put the stuff back, a couple of weeks later they come forward again. But now I think we have an enforcement update later on. She'll tell you all about it. But I think we've got Hounslow High Street under control now. So hopefully, fingers crossed for Hounslow West as well.
Just the lady at the front up here, please.
Hi. The footpath, the pavement from Wellington Road going all the way down to the health centre or St Michael's and St Martin's Church, all the pavements are broken there. Will that ever get fixed?
So I know there's a specific criteria that recently had been adjusted to determine to what extent a specific tile or portion of the footpath should be deteriorated. Sorry?
Quite a lot.
Yeah. So if if you want, you could raise that as a typical casework question, which you could raise to either myself or any of the Hounslow. I'm assuming that actually that falls under Hounslow West, so you could raise that to myself, or just if you want, you could raise that to Amoy, and she can pass it to me just behind you, and I can find out what, and then one of the officers can do a little inspection, and if they need to do it, they'll take care of that area.
Can I ask question number 2?
Yeah, go ahead. Did you have one? Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you for your question. Sorry, is that near Wellington Road?
Yeah, Wellington Road, but it's on a Bath Road.
Right.
So all the footpath, actually it's from Hounslow West coming down, okay, but it's so broken.
If you could kindly send an email to your area councillors, one of them is here today, you can see him later on if you like, and then report it so he can raise the casework for you.
I will do.
Thank you.
Can I ask another one, please? Well, it's 2 more and that's it. Down Martindale Road and Dow Avenue especially, sometimes I can't park my car there outside my house because you haven't got any parking. There's not much parking in Hounslow West. It's all gone now, where we used to have parking. You haven't replaced any parking. And there is a parking in Sainsbury's by the station, but that's private. There's not much parking in Hounslow with the amount of traffic that you get there. Is there anything that you can do about that?
I know pretty much on using Martindale Road quite a lot to pass by. I know a lot of the residents do have their own driveways, which limits the higher the number of drop curbs, the lower the amount of parking available on the street. Yeah. So, sorry?
I haven't got a driveway.
Yeah, I understand. Even I've had difficulties being on that street, struggling for parking. And I mean, you'd think it's close to the tube station, and you'd imagine that less need for... I've got you struggling to hear you.
Okay, I have a blue badge, and sometimes I can't park outside my house because it's just full of parking.
I'm assuming you don't have a drop curb.
No, I don't have a drop curb.
Okay. Any other councillors have any of the details about parking area or anything, transport? I mean, feel free to, specifically if you've got a, actually, that reminds me, if you've got a blue badge, I know in quite a few of the other streets in Hounslow West, there are dedicated, if not
There isn't
couple,
one down my road.
Yeah, so if not couple, then at least a dedicated bays for disabled users. So it may be worth raising that formally if you already haven't. And again,
If we pay for parking to park outside, having the parking permit, why can't everyone be dedicated to their own parking? Why do we have to share it with the public?
because I think
They're not paying, we are.
So I think I think this is more a broader policy-based question, and again, you can feel free to raise that very question formally, and we can. I think we can have a discussion on this very topic for another hour, where we can back and forth. So it's a good question, you can raise that formally, and I'm sure we can get you a detailed response. But just the more importantly, your question on the disabled bay, I'm sure there should be a criteria, because I am aware in the other streets we have that. So yeah, do raise those and we'll get you a detailed response.
And question 3.
Yep.
Are we ever going to have any decent shops in Hounslow High Street like we used to?
See, I think that'll be a...
Too many people complaining.
Yeah, so that'll be, so I know, well, a lot of you may be aware that Hounslow's going through kind of a redevelopment at the minute, and a lot of the shops or a lot of the input would come from the whatever consultations that we have. So that will be taken into account. So if you already haven't, do get involved, or if you need information, we can get you involved in the consultations if they're already...
But how many years is it going to take for Hounslow to grow?
I'll get
nice
the right person.
area, because I've been here 50 years or more now, and I just see it going down, then going up. It took a long time to even get a cinema, more than 20 years, and we were promised that.
So I'll get Councillor Girawal, and then I'll get the other councillor to get back to you so in a second.
Right, thank you for your question. It comes in my ward as well. Yes, it's a national issue. People are now buying online a lot, and a lot of big people have gone into hubs outside the cities, because there's a parking there, there's a big hubs altogether. So every high street in this country is now facing the same issue. What we're trying to do is we're trying to do some housing with it, so people can see you can see that a lot of restaurants and things are moving into that. But big people are going because there's a big footfall in Hounslow, but not spending. People are not spending money locally. And that's not just us, it's the national trend at the moment. Yeah, it is.
Use the mic, please.
Sorry, use the mic, please. Yeah.
Mic's not on.
Is it? Okay. Okay. You don't have a mixture of people living in Hounslow, okay, of different qualities, okay? You say you want affordable homes. We take on, Hounslow is like a charity. We take on a lot of people where we help. We help a lot of immigrants, which is a good thing. We help the homeless, etc., etc. But it's not very mixed. We have a divide between Chiswick, Isleworth and Hounslow. If people who need help in immigration and to live here from other countries, they should be scattered everywhere and not everyone in Hounslow. That is why people are not spending in Hounslow. And we had Marks and Spencer food hall in Hounslow, that was doing well. I'm talking about decent shops, It doesn't have to be closed shops, but decent shops. It's just like a market. It's like Shepherd's Bush, really.
It's really not up to us to ask. We try to ask them to come into Hounslow, but it's up to the shopkeeper who shop owners are. They have to decide whether they can make some profit, and they'll come here. But Chamber of Commerce is doing a new bid. It's a sort of new thing they're doing. It's called bid. And their main thing is, like you said, to make aware other people that we have a place in Hounslow. We can accommodate you. They can give you some facilities, and bid. It's called BID bid. They are doing a lot of work at the moment to bring some more business into Hounslow. And about this, you said different cultures or different people living there. That's not that's up to the central government where they spend those immigrants, or that's what you mean to say?
No, but I thought Hounslow gets provided a grant to help people, and you are putting them all in Hounslow. They're not spreading to other areas.
Yeah, I think if
like in Brentford, you're allowing Brentford to be high class and here lower class.
Yeah,
and that is wrong.
Can I just come back there? I think
I'm not trying
there's
to
a
be
lot
political, sorry.
Just turn off the mic, please. It's causing feedback. So, yeah, I understand your concern. It may seem that way, but it's a little bit more complex than you think. If it was just the case of receiving grants and funds for the number of, let's say, migrants that you could house, I'm sure there's a lot of other struggling boroughs would be first in the queue. So I think that's just the assumption. It's a little bit more complex. Central government has figures allocated to individual boroughs, individual cities who have to accommodate a certain number. Some may, in that case, if it was up to specific councils, some may request 0, some may request thousands. So it's the intent is to have them distributed equally, but I mean, it's a little bit out of our control. So that's all I can say for this question. But however, if you still need additional information, feel free to, on your previous couple of questions, reach out to myself and Emma at the back, and then we can address the rest of your other queries. Any more? I'll take, was it Isha at the back? Just forgot. Was it Risha at the back, right there? And then I'll take the gentleman, the second last row after.
Hi. I have raised congestion in Hounslow West quite a few times to yourself, to Chopra, and a couple, I think, with transport and as well as, I'm not sure of licensing. But I guess the response that enforcement has been improved. The officers are being sent out more often, but I think up to a max of 3 times a day. However, it's not often during the peak hours. So I'm wondering why, when the officers aren't there, or even if the officers need to be at other places, why can't the automatic enforcement cameras be put into place? Because Rosemary Avenue, Earl Hay Close, it's heavily populated. Just yesterday itself, a fire brigade couldn't come into Earl Hay Close, and they have to go into, I believe, Iceland parking, and even that was a big deal for them. So I'm wondering why enforcement cameras can't be put into place, because enforcement officers clearly cannot manage that load for that volume because of the shops being there. So what's being done?
So what I would suggest is, without going into too much in kind of detail, if you feel, I mean, it's a valid point where, I mean, it's a busy area. I think we all know Hounslow West can be pretty hectic throughout the day. Maybe worth raising a petition within the kind of the locality and the vicinity, just gauge the numbers that feel that way, and you can submit that formally through myself, in fact, and we can put that through as a motion, see how far that gets.
So this is on a double yellow line, so a petition would need to be put in place even to follow the current law of double parking?
Well, I think you're answering your own question, isn't it? Because you said it's a double yellow lane, there is enforcement officers there, but then you said that there's so much footfall, it's hard for the enforcement officers to be there 24/7. So just to answer your question about the cameras, which don't require feet to be there, just installed, it may be worth raising a petition to request those and see kind of how far that gets in. I mean, we've had petitions come in and we've had quite a few be successful, so it just kind of, I mean, depends on the, let's say, the vicinity and the members in the public, see how much support you got for it, and then we can go off from there.
Okay, and
It'll actually be formally submitted, just for your information, and yeah.
So who do I reach out to that for that?
So firstly, you'll have to get a petition signed by all the rest of your neighbors, and then reach out to myself, submit it to myself, and then I'll propose it through the right channels, and we can move on from there.
Okay.
Just the gentleman at the second last row.
Yeah, hi, good evening. You've been doing a good job with the Bell Square. You know, you had these antisocial elements in the night making a lot of noise, and we're seeing a marked improvement in the last 1 year. Yes, great job, but the Hounslow High Street doesn't look that great. And now with the fruit seller coming in front of H&M, it's made the ambience look even more bad. So it looks like a giant fruit and vegetable market, the whole of Hounslow. You have 3 of them selling it. There's no, better shops or something, so the look of it is going down. The next question is, I have 2 kids. Where do I go to play table tennis with them or any sporting activity in the area? I don't see anything nearby. At least at Lambton Park, there's a tennis thing, but any table tennis, basketball, or something like that would be great. And what are you doing in terms of businesses in the area? Like Hounslow has a great food place. How are you promoting Hounslow as a place to come and have a great meal? So what are the things you are doing on that?
Jenny, the councillors want to have a go? So you're going to have to...
No, that's fine.
Go ahead.
Darrell, thank you for your question. High Street now looks much better than it has been. It's much cleaner. We have 3 or 4 walks in there with the officers, and there is a lot of people they are cleaning the bins more often than they used to be. There are 2 cleaners from 7 in the morning till 7 at night, and they're always, you must have seen them doing it. So it's quite clean. About the sports facilities, we have quite a few sports facilities around different leisure centers. Have you tried the leisure centers? Yeah, they're different. We've got 5 or 6 leisure centers here. The nearest one to you is Isleworth. They might have, I don't know how many facilities they have. They have different facilities in different, we just had 2 paddle balls there. They approved by the cabinet last night. So all these leisure centers are doing different things. I don't know exactly which one doing what, but it's best to look on the website or have a look what they do, but they do have facilities.
You're going to have to repeat. Was that all your questions? Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you for your question. There are several schools in Hounslow, in and around locally, and many leisure centres in the whole borough. You would have to really visit them online or in person, and then you can find out more about what facility and how often they play table tennis and so on. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. There's another one. Cranford School is known for it. I used to play badminton there a lot. They have facilities for other sports. I said, look into that. They got a lot of sports facilities there.
Okay, any last questions? Just the gentleman there in the far left corner.
Hello. I have a couple of questions actually. I'd like to pitch in on a few of the points that have already been talked about tonight, but I'm conscious of your time and the time we have here today. But there are a few separate points that I'd like to raise. I made a couple of notes about these in the last week in anticipation of meeting you guys. So I am born and raised around here. I have always been here. My family have been here since the 60s, and we have multiple properties in and around this catchment area. I have seen firsthand, as probably some of you have, how Hounslow has changed over the years. And we could get into politics around, which we're not going to, by the way, around the ratio, let's say, of population within Hounslow, the demographic of how many immigrants we have here versus we did 10 years ago. And we could compare that to other boroughs and probably get a good proxy of if this area has sort of seen an increase on other areas. But I think that we wouldn't probably be able to get to the crux of that problem tonight. So there are a couple of separate points, though, that I think are relevant in terms of things that probably we can do as a team to try and understand where's the failure here, because these are some failures, So the first one I want to talk about briefly is the streets in terms of the cleanliness of the streets. So you can take a walk and within 5 minutes of here probably pass at least 10 to 15 different instances of either fly tipping or people just throwing their rubbish onto the streets. There are some particular hot spots. Hibernia Road corner, where Grove Road meets Hibernia, is a habitual place where every morning you will see rubbish dumped, every single morning, and we know that. There are many, many streets. Roseville Avenue is another road that's sort of towards Heath and School. And at the end of Roseville Avenue, this morning I drove past a couple of mattresses. I turned right on into Wellington Avenue, I saw more fly tipping on the roads. These are habitual hotspots. They have been like this probably for about 5 to 7 years, and they have been now the known place to go and dump your rubbish. What is being done about that situation? That's my first question. So it's about the fly tipping and the state of the roads. The second question, and I'll mention them all and then I'll recap briefly so you guys can choose who wants to reply to these. The second question I had was really being about the quality of the lighting on the streets. So again, if you've been in Hounslow for a long time, you will have noted that, I don't know, it was about 15 years ago, they changed the lighting from those orange halo lights to the blue LED type lights. Really, I think because we're quite close to Heathrow, is my understanding. I'd like to think that's what it was. Possibly for efficiency. I don't know what the actual reason for that is. But what it's resulted in is the streets are very dark. They are dark. Even walking here 2 minutes up the road, as soon as you go, and I can name a number of streets if that helps, but there are, I guess my point is there are a number of instances in Hounslow where, due to the proximity of the housing, due to the cars and the vans being parked on the roads are very poorly lit. So what is the plan? I mean, firstly, is that even on the agenda to address? Because I feel as though that sort of drives antisocial behaviour, and it certainly sort of leaves one slightly less comfortable walking down the streets at certain times. Okay? And the last part is really about another sort of hotspot, habitual hotspot, but I think it's quite, all of us are in this area, and that's just behind the McDonald's in Hounslow High Street. So specifically, there are motorbikes that park up on the pavement just behind McDonald's, in between that Barnvala shop and the back of McDonald's. And so there's a small area there. They drive onto the pavements and they park up there. I saw multiple of them today. Today, really good story. Went outside the house, saw 2 bikes parking up, coming on the pavement, parking up there. 2 clearly delivery drivers collecting food from Hounslow High Street. That is illegal. They cannot ride a motorbike onto a pavement. I believe that's the law, right? You can't not only ride, but park on a pavement. I see an enforcement officer, is a public enforcement officer by pure chance, right next to McDonald's. And I say to him today, oh mate, can you see that over there? And I pointed to the bike and I said, he's just driven on the road. Do you know what he said to me? And I said to him, I'm going to go to this meeting tonight where I'm going to meet some of the councillors and I'm going to address this. And he said to me, it will probably take someone to be hit by one of those bikes for them to take anything seriously. That's coming from the enforcement officer.
All right, thanks.
So there are 3 points there. Yeah. So I'd like to, if we can, get a couple of thoughts, if we can, on those. Thank you.
So on the very first one, regarding the let's say the demographic or the population increase within Hounslow, I think that's probably, and you compare that with other, let's say, areas around Hounslow or surrounding areas in London, I think just as you would be aware that Hounslow being a very close proximity to Heathrow is always going to be a hot spot. And it's going to be, and I, having knocked on quite a few doors over the years, specifically Hounslow West, I know a lot of people, their streets near the Cambridge Road area, where pretty much every other door I've knocked on, they work for BA or are working for BA. Hounslow, Martindale Road areas, a lot of people work on Heathrow, all the other surrounding areas. And so that's all Hounslow is just, and it's also in a not too far from Central. You've got the Great West Road. So I think it's always going to be difficult. It's going to be an attractive area for people to move over to. So that's that on that one. Now, the one on fly tipping, I'll let Councillor Giriwal address that, and then the lighting and the other, I'll see if we got somebody to answer that.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, fly tipping, yes, this is our first priority, and residents are telling us that our roads are not clean, streets are not clean and not safe. and we have done a lot of work on it. We're working on it a lot. Fly tipping, number one, like you live in a house and next door is doing it, we need your help there to reporting it. So if you can report it, please, to us, and we will do our best to deal with it, yeah? The things we're doing is, sorry, I'll take that in the end. Yeah. So things we're doing it, we have just agreed, the cabinet just agreed enforcement review. With that, we are making a sort of, there's a guy sitting right behind you, he'll answer that as well in a minute. We are the safer community, and our traffic wardens and our APCO, our company, we are making them one unit, one uniform, one training. And they'll be dealing with everything, not just giving parking tickets, they'll be dealing with antisocial behavior as well, with fly tipping as well. So hopefully that will come in end of March. That team will start working in our March. You will see the difference because they are especially working on antisocial behavior and fly tipping. The other thing is, fly tipping, you must have seen on the media, we have raised maximum fine allowed is £1,000 for fly tipping. So we are now doing it, and I think we have issued a lot of FPNs for that, and hopefully that's a deterrent. And people will stop fly tipping. And about lighting, I don't know much, but you can tell Amau, and we'll give you an answer in writing for that. And mopeds, we had a meeting with the police last week. This was discussed with them. They do stops in the High Street and on Kingsley Road. They check they are legal, they got insurances. If not, they take the bikes away. The parking, they are aware of it, and it's a police job. There's no police officer with us today, I'm afraid. But write to us, and we'll pass you on to the police, and they'll answer that.
It's gonna have to be very quick in the interest of time. I've got to move on.
Yeah, hello, yeah.
Sorry about that. No, I appreciate that response. Just briefly, in terms of reporting it, you talked about your neighbours, if you see it, report it. I think we could do a better job at making it more visible for people as to how to do that. I actually do that. I do that. I would encourage you to look up my name and ask for the stat. How many times does this gentleman report fly tipping? You will be shocked, okay? So I do try and take a proactive approach to this, but I think we can do a better job at educating everybody else how to do that. But I equally think that in terms of probably a quick solution would be, if we know we've got particular hotspots, and I've mentioned a couple of them tonight, why are we not making a more proactive approach at addressing those areas that people deem comfortable to fly tip in? If we know where the regular problems are, because you've got the data, so you can analyse the number of jobs on any given location, you will see where the hotspots are. So can we be a bit more proactive about addressing that sort of thing? That's where I'm coming from on that one. Thank you for your comments, sir.
Thank you for that. Yes, we have already made about 5,000 posters, and they have been delivered to us, and very shortly they'll be installed on all the hotspots, all the housing, all the properties we own, the council, possibly in schools as well, and telling people it's illegal to do that, and there's a fine of £1,000. That poster will be soon, a couple of weeks, Lorraine? Next couple of weeks, we'll see those posters. There are 5,000 posters going in all over the borough. The other thing is we are educating people. There are several communities. They are going to people, telling people it's illegal. We are educating them. We are providing good services. We are also finding them. And it's a zero tolerance. If somebody is caught, their name is there, there's a proof there, we fine them £1,000.
Is that Vikas, is it? Vikas, yeah, I got your questions here. In fact, I was going to read them up, but it's good that you've asked them in person. So in interest of time, I won't be able to get any more questions. If there are any, you're just going to have to just run them by myself or Emma at the end of the meeting. Or if I have some spare minutes, I can come back to you because we've got some presentations, don't want to hold them up. Okay, that's all for the open forum. So we've got two members who would like to, under the community spotlight presentations. The first being Sally Bailey from the Holy Trinity Church Night Shelter.
Welcome to Holy Trinity. We're delighted to be able to host this meeting tonight. Many of you will have walked past our building. Some of you, this might be the first time you've come in and you've gone, wow, this is an amazingly huge space, isn't it? You might be interested to know we have the same space underneath. And we are at the moment a 24/7 operation. And we do lots of things during the week, and it's our community hub and our activities there that I'm going to focus on today, with a particular spotlight on the night shelter. But just to give you a flavour of what happens here during the week, we have an Olive Branch crisis drop-in, which is helping those experiencing homelessness. As we know, homelessness is a very complex issue. There are often mental health issues. There are sometimes addiction issues. There are often immigration issues that people are struggling with. And so Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, people can pop in here, have a hot meal, access a shower, and also get signposted to help. And because of the number of immigration issues that come up, we have been working with Migrant Help. Migrant Help gives supports to those who are refugees, asylum seekers waiting decision, or those who've had a decision and now being kicked out the hotel. And we want to stop them ending up sleeping on the street. And so we're working with Migrant Help to signpost them to appropriate housing. We also have immigration advisors. I've actually trained up to level 1 because it's complex. It took me 2 years to get my husband here after I'd married him. So I know what it's like to struggle to get your visa for your spouse. My nephew's here studying. My stepdaughter's here studying. I've been through it so many times. And I know how stressful it can be. And so we're offering support to the community to help provide affordable advice for people on their visa issues. The night shelter is an extension of our community hub, which operates from the 1st of December through to the 31st of March, offering support to those who are homeless in conjunction with the Borough Council homeless team. We also have a community cafe. You may have, you've walked past, noticed that we're open more. If you want to pop in for a cup of coffee on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday or Saturday, you can just give a donation. It's a warm space, somewhere that's peaceful. You haven't got music blaring out like you have in most of the other cafes, and it's a lot cheaper. We also have exercise classes, kind of strength and balance. Some of them are chair-based, some of them are a little bit more active. Again, that's often providing somewhere for people who are, living alone. Loneliness is a big issue in society today. So coming to an exercise class, it's about well-being, but it's also about community cohesion and being able to offer some food after that as well. Toddler group on Friday morning, parents and toddlers come in and play. And then we have fellowship groups for people who are members of our community here in different languages. So on Monday and Wednesday it's English, but on Friday we have a big Farsi fellowship here, more than 90 members. And on Saturday we have groups that meet. We have men's group, we have a Punjabi women's group, and we have a service that caters for Asian languages, Hindi, Punjabi, Urdu. So that's what's going on during the week. I did promise to give a spotlight to the night shelter. So we are open for 121 nights straight. There used to be an old model where night shelters would move around from one church to another. They come here every night for 121 nights straight. We started on the 1st of December. We had 14 guests in. The numbers have gone up. Since January, we've been regularly having over 20 people. We did say our capacity was 20, but the need is there. And particularly during the severe weather, the list went up to 40 people. Not all of them wanted to come in, but for those who were on the list, which is provided to us by the rough sleeping team at the local council, they sort of check out and do the assessment and do the referrals so that we know who can come in each night. But it's not just about a bed for the night. Actually, there are health issues. Some of our guests who have been here have been in and out of hospital. We give them food, we check their temperature on the way in, we do COVID tests. If someone's got a really high temperature, we want to make sure everyone's safe in the communal shelter. So we do COVID testing. Obviously food, showers, clothes, beds, it's all about safety and well-being. Sleeping on the streets is not a place that you would want to be. It's cold and it's dangerous, and people live in fear. You can't sleep because you're not sure what's going to happen. So having a safe place to sleep that's warm, where food is provided and shelter, helps increase well-being and safety. But also we're about giving dignity and getting people to help themselves and restore their self-respect. Because when you end up sleeping on the street, everything has been stripped away. And so getting them to help with the setup, help set the tables, help serve the food, help clear away in the morning, look after your own space. It starts to rebuild so that people are ready to move on. That actually, when we've helped with some of the immigration log jams that there have been, when we've helped them get the mental health support that they need, we can actually helpfully move them on to successful move-ons. So in December, we had 3 night shelter guests who moved into accommodation. In January, we've had 4 so far. We've got another 3 in the pipeline that we think will be successfully settled by the end of the month. And another 4 people from the Olive Branch who are not actually night shelter guests who we've got move-on plans for. And just to give you a little bit of a success story, you might have noticed the gentleman in this picture has actually been here today. I met him on the streets in November. It was severe weather, which means that the council had a responsibility to get everybody in. I found him sleeping opposite the church. I went and spoke to him, got his details, spoke to the council, got him a bed for night, took him in my car to the local place where he was going to stay, and told him the next morning, we're open for breakfast, come and have a breakfast. Since that day, we've stayed in touch with him. He became a guest at the night shelter. He started volunteering. He's been working in the cafe here every day, helping set up. And we've successfully moved him on to Southampton. They don't all stay in Hounslow. They all want to stay in Hounslow, but they don't. He's been offered accommodation in Southampton, which he's moved into. He's very happy with. But his GP's in Hounslow. He had a medical appointment in Hounslow today, so he's come back. And he said, can I help volunteer today? Because I'm back in Hounslow for my health appointment this morning. So that's how success looks. When you can rebuild someone, when you can show a bit of love and give them some dignity, then actually they're ready to move on and to be useful members of community, giving back and volunteering. We have a really small team here. I've got a coordinator. We've got a team of trained security who are offering hospitality here. We've got a great kitchen downstairs where meals are cooked. We've had 904 bed nights since we started, which means 1,800 meals served because they got a hot meal in the evening and they get breakfast before they go. That's on top of our weekly drop-in on Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday when we're serving up to 40 breakfasts. So some great work being done there in conjunction with the local council, the NHF Rough Sleeping Mental Health team, the local addiction recovery team. We work in collaboration and we're very grateful for the volunteers. Some of the council staff have actually been cooking today. Shout out to Jazz and the public health team because they're always helping us, sending people to come and cook and provide those meals. So it's a great example of a community building being used for the community to support lots of different issues in our town centre. That's me. I haven't been watching the time. Hopefully I'm within my time. For any questions?
We'll take a couple of questions so we can move on to the next presentation straight after. Yeah. Any questions from the members of the public?
Or from the
Just
panel?
one question at the front.
Do you collect food?
Mike, please.
Do we collect food was the question.
Yeah, food bank.
We do have food donations. We collect food.
Can I donate?
Yeah, so we do have food donations. We collect from various different supermarkets and from Pret, and people who actually cook in the night shelter do donate that food. So yes, we accept food donations.
Because I donate clothes to the homeless here.
Yeah.
But I'd like to donate food as well, where
absolutely.
I can. Will you take it?
Yeah, absolutely, we will. Yeah, we're always happy to receive food. We get through a lot of milk, bread, eggs, baked beans, and we have some great curries cooked in the evenings. Any other questions?
I'll take one more from the public. If not, then I'll move to the councillors. Councillor, go ahead.
Yes, Sally. Okay, Sally, you're doing some great work. My question is, I run my business in Witten. There's few people are experiencing homelessness. They often come to me for the support, especially in this weather. It's so cold. They can't sleep outside. So they will ask for the money so they can go in a bed and breakfast. As they don't live in our borough, will you be able to provide them with help if they come to you?
So the way that we can help people, if you see somebody who is sleeping rough, you need to do a street link referral. And so when I found my friends here outside, what I did was get onto StreetLink. There is a website, there's a number. If you just Google StreetLink, Hounslow, you can make a referral for somebody, and there are teams from within the local authority who go out and pick them up, who check their situation, will do an assessment, and if they can, they will find them somewhere or refer them.
But I don't think they live in our borough. They live in Richmond. So
in Richmond, Richmond Borough has a responsibility for that area. So yeah, if it's Richmond Borough, then I would look on their website, go to their homeless provision and find out. Obviously, there are agencies that work across London, like St Mungo's and the Salvation Army.
So if you can't help them, you can refer them to Richmond.
You can refer them, and in fact in Richmond there's a very good church there, the Vineyard in Richmond is a homeless drop-in that works very similar to us. In fact, we went and looked at their model before we opened the Olive Branch. So in Richmond, the Vineyard...
I'll take some information after the meeting from you. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Chair. If
Yeah, sorry.
Just go one more here, and then who's at the back? Sir Chair.
No,
okay.
No, go and do it. Go.
I just wanted to say a big thank you to Sally. The work you do is, I've got no words, it's awesome. And I know you do it year in, year out, because I've been downstairs, I've seen the setup down there, and it is amazing. And I thank you on behalf of all the residents who come here. They probably thank you every day, but I thank you on behalf of the council and everyone, and keep up the good work. And please do ask for help whenever you need any. We will try our utmost to get whatever we can for you guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Last one.
Yeah, thank you, Sally. Good presentation. Just like Ajmer said, I have visited the place as well.
Yeah.
Lovely place. Have you got some spare beds there?
Spare beds.
Yeah, at the moment.
Right now we're at capacity. I mean, we're always looking for sleeping bags, pillows, quilt covers, sheets, that kind of thing. We're using camp beds, so that kind of thing. If you want to give, that would be great. Good quality.
I'm thinking of those people sleeping out there, rough.
The
team is looking into that.
We're at capacity right now, but we have a waiting list, and our team has been doing outreach to everyone who's out there. Some of them are on our list, but they're not coming in. We are trying to persuade them and to help them understand. If you engage with the services, if you come in, it will help your case in the long run. But unfortunately, they don't always listen to our advice. And we are working very closely to try and get them in.
Yeah, we had a complaint from the resident living upstairs, one sitting there as well.
I know.
And they're quite worried about that. They can't go into car parks and all that.
I know,
so if
I
you
can
do that,
understand
it'd be
it. I can totally understand it, and it is really surprising how many people are actually sleeping out there right now. But the outreach teams have been out. Both my community hub manager has been working with the rough sleeping team from the council and doing outreach, going out at 4 o'clock in the morning to try and engage with them and try and explain to them that there is a better option, and they need to come in, they need to engage with us so that we can help them move on to somewhere safe.
Yeah, thank you, Sally. You're doing absolutely tremendous work. Could we have a quick round of applause for Sally and her team? Right, thank you, Sally. I believe we have Shahida Malik from the Open Kitchen. Go ahead, Shahida.
Hello.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shahida Malik. I am from the Open Kitchen. This evening, I'm going to talk to you about Open Kitchen and what it does. Open Kitchen is a place to eat and belong. Open Kitchen provides free meals to people facing difficulties. Muslim Hands Open Kitchen, Hounslow, a charity organization, opened its doors on the 8th of December 2018 before COVID, with a simple but powerful aim to make sure no one in our community goes hungry. It started as a response to a growing crisis. More and more people were finding difficult to afford basic meals. Some were sleeping rough, some were working but still could not make ends meet. We saw the need and we stepped in. Muslim Hands established Open Kitchen in community for those affected by poverty in West London. It's an example making a huge difference to those in desperate need of aid in the community, helping those experiencing homelessness and poverty. At present, we have 556 volunteers signed up. Our workforce involves people from a range of difficulties, different social and ethnic backgrounds, from adults to very young, dynamic volunteers. We pride ourselves on an open door policy that welcomes everyone to contribute and to help out. Many volunteers come to us through schools, companies, and local groups, as well as individuals, which we really appreciate having them work with us. In addition to this, our beneficiaries often volunteer for us to pay back to the community. With these incredible volunteers, a charity would find it difficult to function. Welcome, all communities welcome. Our service users include elderly, single parents, people experiencing homelessness, those in temporary accommodation, low-income families, and job loss. All are welcome from all walks of life. In addition to the Open Kitchen, welcomes a work and works closely with a wide range of network partners to provide comprehensive support to those in need. Some of the key organizations we collaborate with is Pakistani High Commission, local police, local council, shelter homes, job centers, NHS, and a range of faith groups such as mosques, churches, and gurdwaras, and many more. We have a great relationship with these organizations who often visit us and are key donors to the kitchen project. Additionally, we receive vital support from local businesses and charities. Together with these partners, help us expand our reach, enhance our services, and support our beneficiaries meaningfully lasting ways. Our sincere thanks to all our guests and sponsors. We daily walk in service 365 days a year. We open from 12 to 2. Since opening, the kitchen has remained open every single day of the year, 365 days, including bank holidays, all the public holidays, and the national holidays. Throughout this time, we have welcomed every person that walks through our door with kindness and a smile. There is no referral process, no waiting lists, no questions asked, and no barriers to accessing a hot, nutritious meal. Every day between 12 and 2, we serve 2 freshly prepared hot meals packed in takeaway packs. When we first opened, we served 100 meals, twice daily. Due to rising need, our services have grown. Demand has increased by 30%, reflecting 30%. To date, we have served over 846,000 meals, reflecting the scale of hardship faced by so many our local community. Beyond food, we provide food parcels, hygiene kits, and also provide services like emotional and mental health support. We also distribute winter and summer essential kits. We have provided caps, shirts, water bottles to our beneficiaries during the summer days, enable them to have the extra shade and stay hydrated. During the winter season, we provide sleeping bags, winter essentials such as gloves, hats, jumpers, scarves, and blankets. Many families describe the kitchen as a lifeline during ongoing cost of living crisis. National health checks. NHS mobile health unit screening, Find and Trust. Find and Trust and Treat are a specialist outreach team that works alongside our 200 HNS and third sector frontline services to tackle TB among homeless people, drug or alcohol users, vulnerable groups, and people who have been in prison. NHS has now visited the kitchen 4 times, providing vital health checks and support. It offers chest x-rays, winter vaccinations, and blood tests with rapid results. Drug and alcohol support. Drug and alcohol recovery services provided by ARC, Additional Recovery Communities in Hounslow. Is it not working? Oh, keep it close?
That's better.
Oh. Drug and alcohol support. Drug and alcohol recovery service provided by ARC, Additional Recovery Community Hounslow. There is a monthly outreach service for homeless people experiencing difficulties with their mental health and or addictions. We have 2 regular alcohol and drug recovery workers who run workshops, complete referrals for our service users. Counseling services. Social worker surgery. Once a month, we have a regular social worker team set up surgery. They offer counseling, housing, rent assistance, healthcare services, and employment search assistance for a variety of clients, including those evictions or unemployment. Book club. We have started a new book club which aims to provide our beneficiaries an opportunity to access a wide range of literature which they can borrow from the kitchen. We regularly have donation books that include educational books, fiction and non-fiction for every age. We will have a regular book drives when we ask the community to donate more books. And then on a designated day, we run the book club for the service users. Bikes. Recognizing that many travel for far to reach us, we started a bike donation and refurbishment program. So far, 204 bikes have been given out to our beneficiaries, including children, helping them to get around more easily. Kids Club. On Sundays, we hold our Kids Club where we give out toys, clothes, and sweet treats to the children. Sunday is our busiest day. We have volunteers who will play with the children while their parents collect their meals. Duke of Edinburgh Awards. 9 students have completed Duke of Edinburgh Awards through volunteering at the Open Kitchen. We currently have 3 more in process. British Empire Medal recipient. Lastly, last year our co-founder of Muslim Hands Open Kitchen in Hounslow, Mr. Isan Chowdhury, was awarded a British Empire Medal for his services to the community, this being an achievement for the Open Kitchen. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Shahida.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Questions?
As fine. Thank you, Shahada. You've done a great job.
Shahada, I just want to make a comment here, if you don't mind, Chair.
I'll finish up and then let you make a comment. I know a lot of the councillors and a lot of the members of the community have attended the Open Kitchen. For those who don't know where it is, it's just literally off Great West Road and Lambton. As you come out the petrol station at the corner of Lambton School or the bus station and you come out the back end, it's just literally on the opposite corner of Bath, Great West Road. So it's definitely if you know people who like to attend or volunteer, absolutely fantastic place. They've had medals, I think, was it from the King or the honorary award that you mentioned. So I know they've really great place to help, and even for hot meals, anybody else want to attend. So I'll just take one final comment and then we've got another presentation. Don't want to be here all night. So
Shahada, you and your volunteers are doing a great job, especially the man in charge, Ehsan Chaudhary. You recently have celebrated your 7th anniversary. You have served 846,000 meals to individuals and families, which is a truly remarkable milestone. We are truly proud of you, of your noble work and your dedication. Thank you, Saida.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just another round of applause for Shahida. Thank you. Just the next agenda item, we've got transport and road safety update from Usman Omar. And if you could just be really concise, please. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm going to keep this brief and short due to everyone's time. Thank you for coming here. And it's quite hard to follow up with some of the lovely work that everyone is doing, but I work within the transport planning and road safety team, and I specifically look at the education and behavior change interventions around active travel and road safety, some things like the bikeability courses within our schools, or the adult cycle training within Hounslow as well. Today I'm just going to briefly give an update on the illegal e-bike operations that happened last November as part of the Road Safety Week. Our team kind of deals with all the education and awareness of these issues. So we targeted the delivery riders and residents considering or using or purchasing an e-bike. So the laws out there are quite complicated. So it's trying to make it accessible for everyone to kind of understand it. So we've kind of created this video asset that we're going to promote within our social platforms. And there's a easy to understand checklist leaflet that we're going to be handing out to delivery riders and businesses that interact with them. And we've created another web page to have further information around signposting people using e-bikes, illegal e-bikes, to find the legal alternatives. The Road Safety Week was at the end of November. So the Met Police had 3 separate operations, one in Chiswick, Hounslow High Street, and Feltham High Street. And 7 illegal e-bikes and 3 e-scooters were seized across these operations. And yeah, this was done in collaboration with various Hounslow council teams, such as the Safer Communities, Trading Standards, and the enforcement teams. Yeah. And we've been also involved with London-wide initiatives, so working with the London councils, similarly producing an awareness campaign around like a checklist kind of leaflet, and wider conversations that involve delivery companies. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. You whizzed through that. Yeah. Great work. Any questions on e-bikes? We'll take a couple of questions. There's one at the back there.
Hiya. I've got a question for you. If I was a large transport company, I'd have to have an operator's license, and they would be equally as responsible as the driver running into failure of regulations and so forth. So why isn't there an emphasis on putting just as much thought into issuing operators licenses to these companies that are responsible for these e-bikes?
That's a great question. I think we believe and agree with you, although I'm not personally involved in those things, so I think I can take that question to whoever can answer that and come back to you. Is that okay?
Okay. You can formally raise that to Usman or MI, and then they can track back to with more details. Any more from members of the public? Just one there.
Hi. Most of the e-bikes are scattered everywhere, and you must have seen it. There is a designated area for that, but nobody respects that. So there is any way you or whoever authorized to take action on this Lime bike or whoever the owners are, because it's becoming a little nuisance, especially on the main roads. Most of the people are just leaving it, and they just, there's no proper order for that. So there is any way to control that?
So yeah, you're talking about the rental e-bikes such as the Voy or Forest bikes in the borough. I'm personally, again, not the right person to answer that question, but I think we can take that and come back to you. There's another team that deals with the specific operators in the borough.
Go ahead.
Right.
Sorry to jump in, councillors. Can we tell the residents about Fix My Street and reporting it that way? Because we've had that at other areas, other area forums. If you find that there are too many bikes in the bay, or you think that they're a mess or something in your area, you can use Fix My Street, which is a website to report. And the more people that report it, the more likely they are to take action. And we've had a lot of residents in the west of the borough say that it is quite effective. So if anybody wants that web address, we can give you that before leaving. Just come and see one of us. Thank you.
Yeah, good point, because I was supposed to bring that up when the other gentleman was there. It just got through my mind, actually. So it's also, apart from a website, there's a app, Fix My Street. So any of you concerned, do raise it, because over the time frame, the number of complaints, and I mean, it's supposed to get fixed within an X number of hours or time frame, 24 hours, and then it accumulates to see what the hotspot areas are. So do use Fix My Street app, and it pretty much, you get an instant response if you don't already use it. Thank you. I think that's all. Thank you very much, Usman. We have Laurie and Kelly from the for an enforcement update.
Can everyone hear me? Lovely. My name's Lauren Kelly. I'm the Head of Regulatory Services at Hounslow Council, and I'm here today to talk specifically about fly tipping and our enforcement of that. So I'll try and whiz through. Why am I here to talk about fly tipping? Why do we focus on it? So firstly, we know that it's incredibly important to residents. It's all, I think, every area forum I've been to in the last 20 years, it's always raised as an issue that's very important to residents. We know that from our recent resident survey. It impacts the, people's perception of safety in the borough, the broken window theory. It's not just fly tipping, it makes people feel less safe, it accumulates, it adds, etc. Why else do we focus on fly tipping? Because we have a lot of it, unfortunately, in this borough. You can all read the stats there, but over 23,000 reported fly tipping incidents were received by Hounslow Highways last year. That is unfortunately on the increase. That puts us in the upper quartile of London boroughs. So I suppose we're one of the better or worse, however you look at it, in terms of our fly tipping. This is partly because it's actually quite easy to report fly tipping. We have the Fix My Street app, as we were mentioning before. Not all London boroughs do it. Believe it or not, it is very easy to report fly tipping in Hounslow, and also we're very good at clearing it and taking it away. So that sort of gives some residents almost like a free removal service, because as soon as it's reported, we pick it up, and perhaps we're not looking at the cause. I know a gentleman over there mentioned about improving how we report it. Actually, within the last sort of 6 or 7 weeks, we've updated our online form on the website. So previously we asked people to determine if it was private land or public land. A lot of residents might not know that. Also, when that came through to different council teams, it might have been lost in the system and it was parks, etc. So what our new form now does is actually use GIS mapping, and it will pick up if it's on a park, that will automatically go off to our parks team. If it's on a housing estate, that will go to our housing team, etc. So we are in the process of improving it. Why else do we focus on fly tipping? We've got a lot of services across the borough that are engaged in not just the clearance of fly tipping, but also the enforcement of it. We've got different LBH teams, we've got external third party, and that can sometimes lead to a fragmented approach. I'm sure residents in this room and councillors have been frustrated when it gets reported to one team, oh sorry, that's not us, it's for someone else, and it gets sent on, etc., etc. And also our technology, whilst it's good and effective, it could be improved. There's a lot of new technologies on the market, there's a lot of AI, there's cameras that can do a lot of the hard work for us, and I think now's a good time for us to actually look at that and see what we could improve. So what have we done and what are we doing? As I said, we invest a lot in fly tipping in this borough. We've got a lot of teams internally and externally that work on fly tipping. They clear it, they tend to enforce it. We've got a third party arrangement with a company called APCOA who give us additional capacity to enforce against fly tipping, and they also deal with other things. Street trading that was mentioned previously, APCOA take a lot of enforcement action. Again, as was mentioned by Councillor Gerowal, on the 1st of April last year we increased our fines, not just for fly tipping but for other offences. Those amounts are set nationally by DEFRA, Department for Environment and Food and Rural Affairs, so they set the fines and it's up to individual local authorities to adopt them. So back in 2023, DEFRA increased the maximum that you could fine somebody essentially for fly tipping, for littering, for not removing their waste correctly. Lots of other London authorities, lots of other local authorities across the country adopted that. We perhaps were a little bit slow to adopt it, but from the 1st of April, we increased those to the absolute maximum amount. So it's up to DEFRA to set them, and local authorities decide whether to adopt it. We have taken a number of days of action to tackle hotspots, and happy to take the comments that the gentleman made earlier to add to those. So Vicarage Farm Road, Church Road in Heston and Cranford, this is unfortunately a problem across the borough, but we are sort of working across hotspots. Manor Avenue is another one that we've done a lot of work on, and happy to take any suggestions from residents about future ones. We are increasing our comms, as Councillor Gerowal mentioned, we're increasing posters across the borough. We're doing a new court on camera to raise awareness, so when we've got CCTV evidence, what can we legally publish to say this individual, this business was caught fly tipping, help us, catch these individuals. And also the council is undertaking an enforcement review. As I mentioned earlier, there can be sometimes a bit of a fragmented approach going between different teams, whose area is this? And one of the aims of that enforcement review is to make a more cohesive and integrated response, particularly to things like fly tipping. So to go into more detail about the enforcement review, in November 2025, Cabinet approved the council to work on the next phase, and that will be available on the council website for anyone who wants to read a little bit more about it. As Councillor Gerowal has mentioned, part of this enforcement review will be the creation of an integrated enforcement team, so people that can deal with everything. It doesn't matter if it's on parks or highways, etc. We're going to be a lot more visible, we're going to be rebranded, we're going to be actively out and about. You'll be seeing officers a lot more, taking enforcement action, but also hopefully having that deterrent effect by people thinking the council is actually doing something about it. As part of the enforcement review, fly tipping is an aspect, but there's lots of other enforcement work that the council does. So we'll be looking at our parking enforcement contract as well, and that will be coming into play in the autumn. We're looking at our contractual arrangement with APCOA. What can we do? What else can we ask APCOA to do? Can we increase their capacity? Can we make them work in a more integrated way with the council, so they are getting involved with these hotspots and these action days? There's going to be a new model for CCTV. As I said, there's lots of improvements that are available with AI and CCTV, so making sure that we're using data, we're using technology to help us. It's an uphill battle trying to tackle fly tipping, and what else can we do with the council's existing resources to help modernise our approach. I think that's it. Did I whiz through? I thought there might be questions, so I tried to whiz through.
Well, thank you. Any questions from members of the public? I'll take no more than two in the interest of time. Just one there.
Is it a case of when we see an increase, or when you see an increase across the borough, is it over a seasonal period or sporadic?
We're looking at those are year on year. Those figures there were financial year on year, so it's 24-25 compared with 23-24, etc., etc. And that is we are unfortunately seeing an annual increase. Our population is increasing, so we anticipate, that it could be increasing because of that. As I've said, we are actually very, very good at clearing fly tips, but there's an issue with that where if you put something out, if you put a mattress out, if you put a fridge out in this borough, it will get collected. And that if you are a fly tipper or you are somebody who perhaps doesn't know, or perhaps someone who's abusing the system, it's sort of giving some people almost a free bulky waste service, because if you put it out, we'll remove it. And that's the right thing to do, but it's not tackling the source of the problem as well. And the fact that people have got an app and they can report it, you couldn't do that a few years ago, that's also impacted the increase in numbers. COVID, people working from home a lot more, we saw massive increases during fly tipping because people are in their area more. If you were going out to work and coming back, you perhaps don't notice these things as much. So all these kind of things play, a role in why those numbers are increasing. And also, it's people's behaviour, unfortunately.
Yeah, and are you taking into account what percentage the substances and materials that you're finding, how much is of maybe dangerous waste and non-dangerous, and what might be recyclable?
Yes, so that would happen at the sort of point of collection and stuff that can be recycled would be. Any enforcement action we take needs to be proportionate. So, whilst we have a maximum fine of £1,000 and there's, that's our limit, sometimes that's not appropriate. And actually, if it's a large-scale fly tip, prosecution might be a more, deterrent or actually more appropriate, because the cost of it and the cost to the council is a lot more than £1,000. Fly tipping is a criminal offence, so anytime you want to enforce it, you have to have a criminal level of evidence, that threshold. It can't be, someone saw it, and that's sometimes where we fall down, is because residents say, my neighbour saw this, or I saw this. Great, absolutely. Will you put a statement in so we can take it to court? No, I don't know. And until that, we can't, because it's criminal. It's not civil, it's criminal, so it has to be, it's not balance of probability, it is absolute, evidence threshold. So that, again, fly tipping is really, really easy to do, but it's actually really, really tricky to enforce against, and it's very, very costly. So we kind of take everything into account. We've had some, large-scale fly tips, and we will work to prosecute those, because it's not right that they get a £1,000 fine. They should get a criminal record, a higher fine, etc.
And my final question on the back of that is, what about the seizure of the vehicles in question?
Yes, so again, we've got, and I'm happy to share this afterwards, we've done quite a few operations with the police. We work in conjunction with the police, so they have the power to stop and search vehicles. We've got the power to issue notices to say if you've got a registered waste carrier's licence, etc., etc. So particularly in Brentford Leisure Centre, because it's quite a useful location to bring vehicles off. It's also a sort of an intersect where a lot of people are either coming or going. They might come off on the A4, go off on the M4, etc. So we've done quite a few operations, and I'm happy to share some of the details. And we have seized some vehicles where they haven't had the, we can tell that they're carrying builder's waste, or they look like they're about to dump something, but they don't have the paperwork they need to. So we can find them, and we can also seize their vehicle.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Lauren. Just a very quick one from Vikas.
Thank you very much. That is a coincidence that you're here today, so I'm really happy you're here, and I'd love to have a quick conversation with you afterwards on some of the points you picked up. But just one question, which was probably for everyone to hear for now. So clearly citing a number of reasons why the number of fly tippings has been increasing, and totally understand some of those factors. Has the budget that your guys and your team been allocated and proportionally increased to deal with that magnitude of an increase in the challenge? How much was your budget 3 years ago, and do you know what the budget is now? If you just proxy, 10% up, 5% up.
Again, off the top of my head, I couldn't answer that. And again, it's not just my team. I'm not responsible for the team that collect fly tipping, so I wouldn't know what their budget is. That's one of the reasons that we utilise APCOA as a third-party contractor, because it gives us that enhanced enforcement capacity, not just with fly tipping. As I said, they do stuff with, they enforce our public space protection order for street drinking, they enforce against illegal street trading. So, it's no secret that councils' budgets are extremely stretched year on year, so we have to work creatively to give us greater capacity to deal with things in a world where our budgets are stretched. I don't know if there's anything the councillors want to add from a budget perspective.
Okay. Thank you for a nice presentation. Very well done. Thank you very much. And anyway, just to let you know, people, last year alone, it cost council £4 million to clear the fly tips. So that's why we are finding £1,000. Good people like you should not pay for that. It's the people who are fly tipping, they should pay for that money. So it's £4 million it cost taxpayers last year.
Thank you, Laurie. And I'm sure you'll be glad to know we're almost there, actually, probably another few minutes. So we have the second last item, which is any other business the chair wishes to take on the ground of urgency. I know Councillor Girival has a quick update.
Thank you, Chair, again. A couple of months ago, Sergeant Paul Todd raised this with us, with the ward councillors. There's an alleyway behind ASDA, not well used. It's only used by drug pushers, fly tippers, and antisocial behavior. Now, myself and Sergeant Todd, we done a walk 2-3 times. It does take almost the same time to walk through the alleyway or in front of ASDA. Now, alleyway is not safe. The ASDA is well lit. There are people there always. So what police want us to close that alleyway. Since I raised that, I had a meeting this afternoon. I think Lauren was there as well. And it was discussed. They are dealing with it, but they need some more information from the police. I was expecting a police officer here today, but they're not here. Once they get that report from the police, they will, well, there are a couple of options were mentioned to me, like saying more lighting, we'll do cameras. It's not going to work there. We have police has already worked it. And we done a campaign on Myrtle Road, and 99% people there want this alleyway closed. Police will be happy because it will save their time. They can spend more time on the other alleyway between Kingsley Road and North Drive. Similar issues there, but they can spend more time there. It's just make a note of that, please, Bill. And I think there's some, safer committee. Would you like to add something to it? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Councillor. My name is Zahir Kadri. I'm from the Safer Communities team. Yes, the police have put on a very convincing argument and reasons to have this alleyway closed. This is the alleyway that links Alexandra Road to Myrtle Avenue in Kingsley Road, which is off Kingsley Road. We are currently in discussions. We're requesting that the police put their reasons for the closure of the alleyway forward, and then all the other departments are going to be working together to ensure that it's closed. And you're right, Councillor, it's only another minute, maybe another extra minute to walk in front of ASDA. That alleyway creates a blind spot, and blind spots, as everyone knows, it's always used by the menacing sort. So, yeah, it's all in action. It's all work in hand. That alleyway will be closed soon once the police have put in their reasons for the closure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, just moving on to, I suppose that's the last, let's say, technical item. So the next meeting scheduled is on the 30th of April, in a few months' time, and I suppose that's really it. So thank you all for attending, and if you have any additional questions, please reach out to Amoy. What's that, Amoy, you got at the back?
Mike. Hi. Guys, you will see a feedback form on a seat next to you. If you don't have one, I can give you one. If you want to give any feedback about the meeting or anything you'd like to see, please fill in this form. And also on the very back of the form is a very big space. If you want to have a question answered that you didn't have answered tonight, leave your email address along with the question and we will formally respond to you in an email. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. All have a good night.